Hey guys, for this video I am going to talk about something that really bothered me recently. It's all over like the YouTube news, if you like. I don't really know how else to say it, but basically there was like this big drama, if you like, about I think his name's Hair by Jay and Trisha. I think, is it Tris or is it Trish? I think it's Trish. I don't know. I don't really watch her. I'm not really a fan of her or anything, but I've obviously heard of her in the past and stuff, so I know who she is, if that makes sense. But I don't watch her. But the subject matter obviously hit me the hardest because it's basically bullying. I stumbled across the video a little while ago, probably the same day that she uploaded it, I'm not sure. And I just sat there and I just clicked on it, something that I never would normally do, and I was like, what the heck? She brought something up to do with Jeffree Star and him recently. She said that she didn't really want anything to do with him, she was distancing herself. And I guess she made a comment about this guy, I don't know, but apparently she didn't name him because I can't find anything with his name. She just said the guy that did their hair, which technically isn't naming him. She said that he might have overcharged her. And then I think this live stream was like his response to her saying that, I think. And yeah, he just basically bullies her. Like, there's no other way of saying it. Like, the things that he says in that live stream, bearing in mind that this guy does hair for a living, like, that is his job. He is a hairdresser. Like, yeah, it's to celebrities, but to be fair, that makes this even worse. The fact that he's come back to her mentioning something like that wasn't even a big deal, and decided to go on a massive rant about her just ripping her to shreds in front of a few thousand people. It's like, it's not very good business, is it? I don't really know why he decided to do that, but the things that he was coming out with when I watched it, I was like, no. And it, like I said, it struck a chord with me because he does bully her for really stupid things. This video, I am going to go over some of the things that he said, kind of like a reaction. But obviously, I have seen this already. But I'll comment more on, you know, the things as I go through them, I guess, and what I think of this situation. So I'll play each clip that I'm most bothered about. I don't really care about all the other little bits of drama and stuff. It's just certain things that I'm going to pick up on.
We talked about your skin, bitch. But your fucking skin looks like shit till this day, a whole year later, bitch.
I just... What? So the first thing that she shows on her video, I assume she did this in order, I'm not too sure, because she was watching this video, and I've took clips from her video, if that makes any sense. So it's a video of a video of a video? Yeah. So yeah, the first thing that we see, I assume the first thing that he says is about her skin. Like, why do you need to comment on that? Why would anyone need to ever comment on someone's skin? I don't really, like, this is in general, this isn't just as a professional. You just shouldn't comment on people's skin, the way they look, anything like that ever, because that's stuff that they may not be able to fix. Why comment about someone's weight and skin? Like, it doesn't concern you. It's just rude, and it's I don't know, I just can't stand people that talk like that in general. But also, as a professional, you definitely shouldn't do that. Because who the hell is going to want to get their hair done by someone who talks like that? And thinks like that? Because even if he doesn't say this out loud, like, he's thinking this stuff. And now everyone's aware of that. So they're not exactly going to go to him, are they? It's just weird. I don't understand it. Alright, next clip.
You know what pisses me off? That I actually liked her. I actually got along with her. How much a person made her feel uncomfortable, was so negative to her. But afterwards, bitch, don't forget to say, but I got to fly to Vegas because that person paid for a fucking jet. I slept in a motherfucking.
So basically, what he's saying there is that when she said all this stuff, that she didn't want to associate with him anymore, which isn't even him, like it's his boss. So she was talking about his boss, and for some reason, he's also talking shit about her for that as well, which again doesn't actually concern him anyway. Like, why? It's your boss, so you don't need to come on and defend him and do all that. It's a bit strange, but he's basically saying there that because Jeffrey paid for everything, that they could just say what they wanted about her, and she just basically should have just took it. That's not how that works. You don't like you shouldn't be saying this stuff anyway to someone, because they said a lot of this to her face as well, which is what she said. She said before, she didn't mention his name, but in this part where she said that she was being bullied by them, but she did say that he kept making comments like this, and he I think part of this was supposed to be for him to like say that she's lying, but he's just confirming everything that she said because he's saying this stuff again. And in fact, I don't even think he denied saying any of it in the first place. I haven't heard that when I've watched all of the clips that I've seen of this video. So, which makes me think that he thinks it's fine to do. And it's like, oh, well, we paid for your trip. So, if we did bully you, like, so what? We paid for you. You should be grateful. It's like, that's not how that works. It's not how that works. Just because you decided to pay for stuff does not mean that you can then be really awful to that person. That is brat behavior. That's like, oh, I'm paying for you, I own you, I can do what I want with you. No, she's a human being, and she didn't really want to go on that trip, and he paid for it. It's like, that does not give him the permission to bully someone. Like, who does that? That is so pathetic. That just shows insecurity, in my opinion, because you're hiding behind a wall of money. This stuff you obviously would never normally do to someone, but you feel a sense of power because you are paying for them. Kind of just makes you look like a bit of a coward, and like just a bit weird in general. Like, why do you need to say this stuff about people? It's just serious insecurity. Next clip.
I kid you not. If they called her right now, if Jeffrey called her right now, or we called her right now, hey, come hang out with us tomorrow, she'll come.
That is such a weird thing to say as well. It's very strange behaviour from this man. I mean, he's not that different from most bullies, which is why I wanted to use him as an example for what I'm saying. They pick on stuff, like if they don't have anything else about that person that is negatives, like say they're a decent person, they're a good person, so they can't pick at them for that. They're just going for, and the fact that she's not wrong and she didn't lie about anything, they're just annoyed that everyone now knows it. He's got nothing else to pick on her for, so he's just going for physical attributes. The fact that she's, what is it? He says about her skin. He says that she's overweight several times. He says that she's boring at some point as well. Like, what? I don't understand how these people exist. Like, their attitude is just so bizarre. And to sit there and say, like, oh, if we called her now, she would still come over. That just proves what kind of people these are. It's like, oh, we'll call her up, we'll get her around here just so we can mock her. Who thinks like that? Really petty people. It's like, is your life really that sad that you need to project that onto someone else and pick on them? Pick on them? Seriously? To make yourself feel better? As I'm saying it, it sounds ridiculous, but that is literally what this is. They're doing it just to make themselves feel better, and that's sad. I just think people that do it is sad. It's like, really? You need that? Like, I can think of 10,000 more interesting things that I would like to do that I am busy doing. than picking on someone, than ringing them up and being like, come over just so we can pick on you. Picking on people, bullying people, like it's a bit weird. It's a bit sad because they've got nothing better to do. It's like you're making yourself look ridiculous right now. And that's the thing that bullies never get. Most of the time, bullies are people that would be bullied themselves. So they become bullies because then it's like, well, no one's going to fuck with me now, are they? It's like, that's not true though, is it, darling? Because we all know that you're still a shitty person. So when you're on your own and you pick on the wrong person, you're in serious shit. But, you know, they think they're untouchable when they act like this. And it's like, you're not. And it makes them feel more superior. And it's just a weird, I can't get my brain around having to need that. You know what I mean? Needing that to feel better. I actually can't think of anything worse. Like, feeling like you need that. It's a bit weird. And he clearly, well, he says him and Jeffrey, didn't do anything, but then he's talking like this, so I'm wondering if they both were picking on her. I don't want to comment on Jeffree Star. You can't trust these people, you know, you can't. Like, this guy is proving that. It's like, that's another thing that I'll try and remember to get into later. If I forget, I'll put it across the screen later, but it's just another thing that bullies don't quite grip when they're doing this kind of thing, which I'll comment on more later. Next clip.
She's such a liar, the same way that she said she bought that house. First of all, everybody's house. When you purchase a house, that information is public information. The same way fucking the same way marriage information is on the page, right? Yeah. She don't have no fucking house.
So she doesn't own her house, is what he was taking the mickey out of her for there. He's like, oh, she doesn't even own her own house. Like, we could check. And it's like she does own her own house actually now. Apparently, she bought one because she's getting married, I think. Apparently, so she's been renting in between. These people earn an obscene amount of money, like they just do, more than this guy who is actually taking the mick. Which is hilarious, because this boy, yeah, right, he probably earns a lot of money, but he doesn't earn anywhere near what these people do. Nowhere near. And he's got the nerve to sit there and be like, because he said as well, which I don't think I have a clip of, that he was taking the mickey out of her because she asked for the price of an item of clothing, like a designer item of clothing, and they're like, we don't ask prices. Like, it's like what poor people do, people that are worried they can't afford it. It's like, or she's just being smart with the money because she's saving up to buy a house, but whatever. It's weird. Like, I don't really understand why it's like, well, she has less than us, so and that gives you the right to take the mickey out of them. Do you know what people think of you when you do that? Like, people are sitting there going, I know, right? But really, in their head, all of them are thinking, what the hell are you talking about? What makes you so much more superior to say that about that person? And they're going to have a little bit of doubt in their head as well as to, like, what you think of their situation. And they're going to judge you for that. And it's weird because they're all doing it to each other, but it's like none of them actually say it to themselves. It's like, okay. But to ask, like, say that they need price, like, oh my god, she needed to ask for the price and take the mickey out of her for that, and take the mickey out of her for not owning her own home. It's just weird. Like, it's weird. Next clip.
Person. But do you not know that I'm crazy, bitch? Why would you fuck with the wrong one? You could have messed with the fucking makeup artist. He's nice. Compared to me. Bitch, I would destroy you, bitch. By the time I'm done with you, you're gonna look anorexic.
I'm, like, actually gobsmacked. I think that's going to be the last clip that I react to. I'm actually, like, gobsmacked that he can say stuff like that and think it's okay, but that's the kind of people that they are. To, like, and it's, again, classic bullying behaviour, which is why I chose that clip, where it's like, oh, she should not have messed with me. Why did she mess with me? I'm the one that's crazy. All the others are like, wimps in comparison. All of them need best friends to hold their hand. They get a bit more ballsy when they've got a best friend to hold their little hand. And, in this situation, he thought that Jeffrey was going to be his best friend holding his hand. And this is the point that I was going to come over to later. Jeffrey is not there to hold your hand, baby boo. He let go of your hand and he said, "Bye," because he tweeted that he said something like "good morning" to everyone or something except the guy who used to do my hair, which means that you have been dropped. And like I said, this is the point that I was going to come back to. They all do this to people, and they sit there and they say horrible things about other people, even their friends, and they sit there and they gossip and they feed into each other's negativity, and none of them sit there and go, if you can say that about that person that we just spoke to probably, and we're like, hi, oh my god, I missed you so much, you can turn around and say that to their face and act like everything's fine, and they're in on it too and they're part of the crew. But then they're sitting there as soon as they leave and they're like, oh my god, and then it all offloads all this stuff that they think is, and they gossip about that person. You think this person would sit there and go, you probably do this to me too then, eh? None of them do. And it's the funniest thing. It's like, it's the one thing that makes me laugh the most, that they actually sit there and think that they have some kind of bond with each other, where they think, I've got your back, so you've got mine. We do this, but we don't do it to each other. No. They're saying that to that person, they're saying it to that person. Everyone's got their own little, oh no, we would never do that to each other. But the second that you leave, that person is going to do it to that person. They're going to do it about that person. It's so obvious, if they're willing to do it about their friends and other people, that they're going to be doing it about you too. So the second that the shit hits the fan, like it has with this gentleman, because now he is losing clients and people have seen him for what he really is, and they're like, that is not okay. And thankfully, hopefully, he'll go bankrupt and he'll be poor. And he'll have to ask for prices and see how he likes it. He's been dropped very quickly by Jeffrey. And that was so obvious, because that's what bullies do, They stick together when they need to, but the second that they don't need you, bye, they'll just drop you. And it's like, none of them think that, and they're all bitching about each other, and you just hear all these rumours about all of themselves that have come from each other, and you just sit there and think, I'm so glad that I don't have that existence. This is my knowledge as an adult. I've seen this many times. I've been through it many times, because I've been picked on many times through my life, because I look a little bit different, because I am a little bit different, and I've been bullied for it my entire life. So now that I'm a fully grown adult, I am a fully grown woman, I'm no longer in my 20s. I have a car, I have an apartment, I have a job, I have a dog, I have a life. I have finally sat down and really worked through all of this bullying shit. And when you become an adult and you look back at the bullies, you start to sit there and notice a pattern between all of them, and that is that they grow up into nothing. I don't have a single bully that has grown up and actually done something with themselves. Granted, neither have I, let's be honest, I haven't. Because I'm a normal person and they're a normal person too. So it's like, when you're shitting on someone because you think they're less than you, just realise what I just said. We're on par with each other. You're not better than me. You haven't become something better than me just by giving it all of this all the time. None of them, not one. In fact, most of my ones from school don't even have friends. They don't even have friends. Some of them don't have jobs. Some of them don't have, anything. And they're the type of things that they would have bullied you for at school. So if you're going through bullying, I just need you to remember what I've just said, because I've lived through it several times, like I said, and I've come out the other side. And trust me on this, I wish I knew this when I was younger, because I carried that around with me for so long, and I thought it was my fault. I thought it was me. I even thought maybe I should stop dressing the way that I feel like I'm more comfortable, just to make other people more comfortable. And it was a bad time, because it's not about you, it's about them. This boy, I think he's like nearly 30, or he is 30, maybe. I don't even know how old he is. he's literally, I think Trisha calls it mean girl behaviour. It is a thing. It still exists. You come across it when you're older. I've come across it as I'm older. The same like type of people. You can pick them out of a crowd. They're always the same. They look a certain way, they act a certain way, and the second you pick up on that, it's like, oh no, you're one of those. And that is that they like to bully other people to make themselves feel better. And it's like you get older and you start to realise it's actually them. It's their issue. It is their issue. All these people are sad people. And if you're being bullied, I'm passing this on to you so that you can just know from someone who's been through it many, many times and knows exactly how it feels. You know, my bit of advice to you is to remember that as hard as it's going to be, but you will get used to it because I do it all the time now, is that when they're saying all this stuff to you, you have to think about the times where you've said or done something really nasty. Like, say someone said something to you and you've turned around and you've snapped at them and you've said something really awful, because you got to remember how you felt in that moment. You felt angry, you felt sad about something, and as they're screaming at you, just remember that that's how they're probably feeling inside. In fact, they are definitely 100% feeling that inside, and that's their issue. That's not your issue. You're just there. You're just there for them to offload on because that's how they feel inside. So when they're doing that to you, don't feel bad about, like, you know, it's something that you did. Just remember that it's their issue. It's their issue. And if they didn't do it to you, they're, you know, it's because they know that they'd have it done to them. And it's like, well, if that makes you feel better, just feel sad for them. Feel sorry for them, because it's you know, I'm sitting here explaining it and I'm hoping that everybody else feels the same way. As you explain it like that, you start to go, yeah, it's kind of sad. It is sad. You need to remember that if you're being bullied, that you've got better things to do with your day than notice what someone else is wearing, what someone else is saying, what someone else is doing. You've got better things to do. You can get on and mind your own business and do what you need to do and be a good person. That person cannot do that. They're so desperate to not feel the way they feel about themselves that they start looking at other people and they start picking out things, weaknesses in their head, they tell themselves it is, and they'll pick on them for it. 9 times out of 10, it's stuff that they're personally insecure about themselves. Like the way someone's dressed. Oh, that person dresses like a whore. It's because they wish that they could wear something a bit more fitting, maybe. You know, that kind of thing. That is what's going through their heads. They have to have that. You don't. You've got things to do. You're going places. You're doing stuff. You might not be going all the way to the top where you can, you know, laugh at them later on, but you're still going somewhere and you're still getting on with your own life. And if you can come out the other side and say, yeah, I never felt the need to put someone else down to make my day better, then chances are you're a good person. So why do you care what they think? I'm so much happier now that I've grown up and I've realised the type of people that I want in my space. Before, because of how I felt, because I was bullied, because I was made to feel less of a person, because I felt I had no confidence, basically, I always thought that I had to have whatever friends I could get, even if that meant that they would bully me every day. And that is not the case. You don't need to have that type of person in your life because they're just going to be feeding into that feeling and it's not worth it. Why do you need to carry that around? You know, it's one thing for someone to be sad and talk to someone about it, then be sad and be angry at people about it. It's a different thing, you know? And when you find friends that are like, they'll just listen to you and they'll actually care about what you're saying, and you're not just spitting anger venom at people, you know, you'll realize that you've got good friends. You've got really good friends, and that's what you should have. You should surround yourself with good, positive people because that will feed into your energy and you will feel more happy and positive. And it'll be nicer because you'll feel like, hey, my friends actually want to be around me. They don't just want to hear the latest thing that I've got to say about one of our other friends. You know, they're not going to be screaming at me and picking on me to make themselves feel better. You'll be happy about seeing your friends. You won't be stressed out about it. That guy was just foul. The things that were coming out of his mouth were just awful. You should never say that about people anyway, regardless, to their back. or to their face. Like, and obviously not as a professional. You just don't do that, because you end up like this guy with no clients and no friends and no guy with loads of funds and, you know, an army of people around him to back you up. They're not going to be there, as this guy's now discovered. So maybe it made him a better person. We'd all like to think that he's now learnt his lesson and thought, maybe I shouldn't think this negatively about people and be this awful about people. And maybe I should just be nice to people and actually try and help people. And then maybe you'll be a better person. So yeah, if you that's the message behind this video. That guy was angry and he seriously needs help. Like, he does. He's had a kick up the arse now, so hopefully that's enough. And yeah, maybe a lot of people have seen it and thought, wow, that guy had like everything 1 minute and now he's got nothing. Maybe I shouldn't behave that way. Hopefully people will take that from it. You know, some bullies will see that and think, oh, that's what happens to people that do that. Because, you know, there are sadly a lot of people that see these people and think, oh yeah, I want to be just like that. No, because they're not good people. And this kind of thing, like what's happened to him now, happens all the time to those people. They just don't always talk about it. But now we've got the internet, it's a bit more public, we're all going to find out about it. So yeah, if you don't want to end up in his situation where you don't have any friends, you don't have a job, you know, maybe just don't shit all over people that are below you in your eyes. Maybe just see everyone as equal and as, you know, human beings and not what they possess, because you can lose all that in an instant. It's like, what friends is what matters, you know, sustaining a business is what matters. And yet this boy, for some bizarre reason, decided to choose anger and resentment and petty words over his own business and friendships. So he needs to sort himself out, because it wasn't a good idea, was it? You know, maybe now you should sort out your issues and then you'll be fine. Yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'm trying to post once a week. I don't know if anyone's noticed that, but I've tried to do it once a week and I have done it so far. So hopefully I'll continue with that. And I will see you guys in the next video.